Welcome to this video about my BMW iX. This video is intended for everyone who is interested to learn more about this car, specifically about someone who's wondering if it's time to change to drive an EV. How is it to have an EV? This is my first electric vehicle. I'm a combustion engine guy and fan, and I like to share my experiences with you. Spoiler alert, I love this car. If you want to convince yourself that you should not buy this car, better not watch this video. If you want to convince yourself that this is the right car for you, you're probably going to enjoy this video. The iX is just such a wonderful commuter car. Why did I buy this model? First, I was ready for electrification, which we talk about more in a little bit. But also space-wise, as you know, this is a pretty well-sized vehicle if you care about space in the second row, which that's where this model really shines. If you draw the comparison to the BMW X5, in the X5 you will have more space in the luggage compartment in the back and a little bit less, or quite a bit less space, legroom in the second row. This car here really optimizes the second row space, which is just for me, having 3 boys that grow taller every day, is a big plus. So while this car is primarily my commuter car, it also became our primary choice, first choice on weekends to go with the family, or to take my boys and his friend to soccer at night during the week. It's just very, very spacious in the back, which is fantastic. So a really, really good car for the family, and that was one of the reasons that I could justify the upgrade to the iX. I'll take it daily to work, and you know, if I was in a normal standard combustion engine car, I care about, you know, sustainability, and so I think that's not reasonable to drive such a big car to work just for myself, using a lot of fuel. With electrification, it kind of makes it feasible because you can be efficient. This car is certainly efficient, and so I can justify using it for my commute as well. Talking about efficiency numbers for a moment, average since I have this car, when I bought it back in May 2025, so last year, I'm running at 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour, which is, I think is good. You'll see on my commute that, which is so different to the ICE engine, right? Internal combustion engine. The heavier my traffic gets in my work commute, even all the way to stop and go sections, the more efficient the car gets, which is just fascinating. If you think about efficiency of cars, that's where the EVs really shine. They don't mind the stop and go, you just don't use energy. The opposite to the ICE car, where you're in idle, where you just burn this fuel without going anywhere, just creating heat. So if I have heavier traffic, I easily get to a 3.5, 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour efficiency, which is pretty good. And if you really do this highway ride, where you just have a continuous speed on the highway, that's the biggest challenge for an EV. I think I can maintain a 3, maybe 2.9. I did once a road trip where I was really pushing it, running the battery basically from 100% all the way down, and that's what I kind of maintained going from Houston towards Austin and back. So that's very good. The battery has a usable range of, I think, 104 kilowatt hours, something like that. So if you do the 3 miles average, you can get to your 300 miles range with this car. which is a good range. I mean, that's a lot. For me, this means going to work and back is about 60 miles. So I can do this many times. In reality, with EVs, you don't charge the battery to 100% each time. You charge it to an 80% to preserve the life of the battery. And so if I'm moving between, let's say, 20 to 80%, I can basically do the commute to work 3 times with a little bit extra driving to pick up groceries. And so that is easy, right? That means I basically charge twice a week overnight, and that's it. So that's fantastic. If you go EV, I think it's important you go all the way and install a level 2 charger at your house. It can be outside the house, as you see in my case, can be inside the house. Depending on where your car is parked, consider the length of the cable that you have available so it works. Consider where the charging port is on your car. It doesn't need to be the charger that comes from the brand of your car. It can be any charger. This one is from ChargePoint. It works great. It can also be controlled by an app. It connects to my house Wi-Fi. That way I can basically dictate when the charging sessions start to optimize my electricity plan. But yeah, really I can charge 10, 11 kilowatt per hour. That means when I put my car to charge at night, it's ready for me in the morning. And that's very convenient. Obviously, the BMW has also the DC fast charger capability. So whenever I'm on the road, that is an option as well. And it's always surprisingly fast how that works. I decided it's a good point in time to actually back up my claims with some real data. This data stems from my BMW app that automatically tracks all the charging cycles, and the cost for the charging is the best approximation I could do to reflect the true charging cost, electricity cost based on my plan. Again, it's a 24 hours renewable energy plan with a lower rate at night, a nice option here that we have in Houston. You can see on the left column the kilowatt hours that I consumed that month, the estimated dollar, the miles that I drove, and the kilowatt hours that are consumed that month. You know, there's a difference between what I consumed that month versus what I charged, because obviously, I'm not at zero at the end of the month. So this carries over month to month. But you can tell that the consumption is very consistent, averaging 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour. And to my surprise, you don't really see much of a loss during the winter. January, the top line is the lowest, 2.9, but it's really not much less than 3.1. Of course, Houston winters are mild, even though this was a relatively strong winter. Of course, we don't talk about deep freezing here in Houston. But yeah, a small change, but not that significant. And to my own surprise, if I average out the cost, you can see I pay an average $55 per month for electricity cost only to charge my car while driving, let's say, around 1,000 miles, typically in a month, maybe sometimes less. But yeah, pretty stunning, real data. All right, now I'm trying to show the assisted driving. This has the drive assistant professional package. That means on a highway like this, I can put it in self-driving mode, and it basically goes straight, stays between the lines, keeps the distance, and can do lane change if I use the indicator. It works very well at high speeds. If you looked at my previous review from my previous BMW 330i, it had the same package, but it was not able to do this highway driving for I think higher speeds than 40 miles per hour. So it was a limit. It was more like a slow traffic assistant. But this system works great at higher speeds. So you engage it here by pressing this button to start it. And this basically puts the car into the assisted driving mode. So it assists you with steering and the distance and all that, but you still have your hands on the wheel. We can now see that it shows me that its Assisted Plus is ready. And the way to engage it is basically to let your hand go off the steering wheel. The car is prompting a message, making you aware that you're still holding the responsibility, and the car basically drives by itself. So the green indicators on the steering wheel show you they're all clear, and the car does a wonderful job managing traffic. So I gotta be careful here with the filming, because it still checks if you pay attention, right? And there's cameras in the dashboard in front of you, and if you're not paying attention, if you're distracted, if you're looking in wrong directions, not on the traffic in front of you, if you're looking at your phone, the car is so smart that it sees that and says, hey, I'm kicking you out of this mode if you don't pay attention. And the next time you violate it, basically it pulls off this mode and you're back in manual. I think this angle works, so the car can still see my face, detects that I'm paying attention, which I am. But it's for the commute like this, you can see how easy it is, right? So all this kind of slow moving traffic, you just sit, relax, listen to music, to news, whatever you want to do. The car has absolutely no problem cruising with the heavy traffic here. All I do is adjust the speed sometimes. When the traffic is heavy, I'll keep the speed limit lower so the car doesn't always try to catch up to the car in front of you. But yeah, if the traffic eventually dissolves, you just put it back to the regular speed. You can use this set button, which basically puts it on the speed limit, and you're good to go. What this car offers is the assisted lane change in the 8.5 iDrive system. So I just use the indicator, and the car moves over, change lanes swiftly. It's not hesitating, it's doing it as if it can do it. And I do just line change back again. And here we go change lanes back again. It does a really good job. You see cars braking now because there's heavy traffic in front of me. It does a really fine job doing those lane changes. It's sometimes not easy in heavy traffic like this. If there's a gap, it does it. If there's no gap, it doesn't do it. It never created a situation that I thought was a bit dicey. So it basically drives the way I would drive too. Really well done, BMW engineer team. Okay, well, the car's doing the driving for me. It's a good moment to chat a little bit more about this car. When I made the decision for which model I wanted, I had a wonderful BMW experience with the C30i. I like the iX. It's somewhat special if you're in the Houston area. You don't see many. It's a special car. I liked it. I test drove it. I liked it even more. I convinced myself that because it has this wonderful space in the second row, that it's going to be our family hauler for everything that is not a far distance road trip. And so I justified it for myself. Obviously, this is a very expensive car. I bought this car May of last year. If you go back in time with me, there was a lot of discussion on tariffs. There was a lot of threat to basically make imports of cars from Europe impossible. And there was also the tax credit for EVs about to be ending, about to run out. So I thought, before looking back and regretting that I missed the timing, I decided to move ahead and do the purchase May of last year, May 2025. So the dealership still offered me the tax credit, and the car was in the US, so no issues with the tariffs. But still a very expensive car. So I was looking at a pre-owned market. It's an EV, so I didn't want to go private. Still a little bit of concerns, is this all going to work? So I looked dealerships only, and I looked for used cars. And there's not a big market in Houston at all. So it quickly became apparent that these cars drive a lot on the east and the west coast of the US, and all the good offers that I found from dealerships were basically not in Texas. that was good, that was fine. I could do a local test drive at the dealership in Texas, which convinced me. But then I ended up buying this car from a dealership, Palm Springs in California. Greetings to my friend Orlando there, who was a great partner. And this was a 1-year-old loaner car at the dealership. 5,000 miles down. I had all the pictures. He took videos for me, and I ended up buying it, and it was shipped over to me, to my doorstep, and it all worked out well. So why did I buy the M60? The X50 is fantastic, totally fine. The car that I test drove was the X50, plenty of power. I was so happy with it. No problem. You will not miss power when you drive the X50. It's fast enough. The M60 in the US always comes with the Bowers Wilkinson sound system, which I'm a audiophile guy. I love music, and I saw from all the reviews that's the best stereo system that you can buy, and that was kind of itching to have that experience. It also has, basically it's loaded with features and extras. The only thing I think you basically add is the driver assistance package, which was a must, the leather package that this car doesn't have, and I think the luxury package. The rest, the car is already loaded. So then if you look at the pricing, new car pricing, this M60 is significantly more expensive than the X50, but I wasn't looking for new car pricing at new cars, as you know. So when I compared the loaner options, this 1-year kind of market at the dealership, even at the dealership where I bought this from, the difference between those cars, the X50 and M60, was shrinking a lot. And so it made it allowed me to do the step up and go for the M60, because the difference in the end was small enough that I knew I wouldn't regret it. Let's put it that way. And that is true. I never did regret it. It was a good upgrade, and I enjoy the car totally with all the features that it has. Maybe talking about the power a little bit, and I think it's funny how when the new generation came out, so many reviewers talked about that they were so happy that finally you have proper sports seats in this car and you get the sports steering wheel and all that. I think that is not the point of this car. Yes, this car has a lot of power, but it's not a sports car. I think there's a reason why the M department gave it this black M badge and not a true M badge, because an iX is not a sports car, right? It's a powerful luxury car. It's a cruiser. It's a family hauler. It's a commuter. The ride is comfortable, quiet, relaxing, and while of course sports seats don't hurt, and a sports steering wheel is maybe great, I wanted to keep it as it was originally intended by the design team. I get what they wanted. They gave you this cool looking steering wheel, they gave you comfortable seats, and that's what this car is all about, in my mind. Now I will say though, having this enormous power, if you unleash it and do a launch control and have your friends or your kids on board, it is a great giggle. It is a great fun experience, and that's really the only time when I do this, right? It's this kind of give people this experience of this rapid acceleration, which is outrageous, not comparable to anything I ever had as a car. It's fun, it certainly is, but in my normal life, do I ever use the power of this car? No, not at all. I'm just cruising, and an X50 would have made me as happy, no problem. Okay, let's go through a few things that when I watched those reviews, they had me concerned. For example, I live in Houston, Texas, where the summers are really, really getting hot. And as you know, this car in the US always comes with a glass roof. Now, I never had a car with a glass roof, and I was really concerned about, is this getting too hot with a glass roof? Can you have this car in a climate like Texas where the sun is burning, or will it basically cook you? And the reviews talked about that it's not an issue. Some people talked about putting additional paint or film on the glass, and then some people said don't do that. So it left me somewhat confused. But I have to say, this glass is so well thermo insulated, the way it has, whatever material it has in there, it is absolutely not a problem. I never entered this car and felt it was hotter than any other car that gets hot in Texas in the sun. Obviously, every car gets hot in the sun, but this car is no different, even though it has a glass roof. That was very important, and I was very relieved when the car came in May. I was like, this is not a problem. Good. Don't mess with it. It's fine. Don't put any additional film on it. No problem at all. Another thing I saw from the reviewers, they were like, playing with the gas pedal, illustrating how responsive this car is and how quickly it reacts to inputs on the gas pedal because it has so much power, and almost described it like a problem. And I was like, oh, okay, let's see how that goes. Well, that's nonsense, right? I mean, you can drive this car in any mode super smooth. If you just can control your foot, there's no problem. If you have a heavy foot somehow and issues in fine motor skills, you can put it in efficiency mode, where it's just slowing down the gas response, the gas pedal input, and you'll have no problem. But even in the normal mode, you'll have no problem. You can drive this car very smooth. Also, I saw that, hey, people talked about if you do the M60, you have a stiffer suspension. Consider that. It's a stiffer M setup than the X50 suspension. Now, I come from the 330i suspension standard, and I don't feel this being harsh at all. I think it's a very comfortable suspension, super smooth, no problem at all. I think it can't be said enough how quiet this car is. I feel in my daily commute here, running on the highway, just very isolated. As I said, usually I listen to news. It's totally fine, relaxing. And if you have people in the car with you, you can have this conversation at any speed. It's really, really well insulated car. And then together with the Wilkins stereo system, I mean, a word on that one. It is fantastic. It really is. It's hard to describe. It doesn't make sense to film it. You need to have the audio experience in the car to experience it. You cannot transfer this through a video. But you basically have this perfect sound around you in a way that you can't tell where the speaker is. It's just around you, which is wonderful. And the bass is absolutely kicker, right? There's a little shaker in your seat that gives you this vibration feeling. Every seat has a subwoofer underneath. You can hear a bass in a physical intensity that I've never experienced before, and something I love. And so when you want to impress somebody with the sound system, people will hear basses or experience a bass like there's never experienced before, and that's, besides the wonderful overall sound quality, it's really great. I have to say though, when I test drove the iX50 from my dealership, it was equipped with a Harman Kardon stereo system, which is the one step up. It was also very good. I mean, now that I know the Bowers, it might be fun to go back and maybe you will say, well, it's not as good. But when I had the car with the Harman Kardon, it had a great bass as well. It sounded great. It would have absolutely made me happy as well. So I think you'll not deeply miss it if you don't have the Bowers. You can be very fine, very happy with the Harman Kardon. Again, X50 could be a wonderful choice. Made me probably, if you look at the happiness meter, I think with the X50, Harman Kardon and some extras, I would be at 95% happiness. Well, this one gives me 100% happiness. As I saw the sun here right now, about the sunset, I remembered reviewers that review this car. If you have optioned for the luxury package, it comes with this crystal controllers on the side of the door for the seat positioning, and in the center console for the iDrive system. And some reviewers mentioned that if the sun just hits this the right way, it actually leads to a kind of reflection of the sunlight that can hit you in the eye, and that would be a negative thing. So, adding to my list of things that I was worried about when I bought this car, I wasn't keen on that option, but the car came with it. I thought, maybe that might be a problem. I can tell you, it's not a problem. Just as so many other things, it can happen that the crystals work like a prism and reflect the sunlight, and you can get it into your eye. But to me, it's almost like the car is flirting with you a little bit, and reminds you that it's here and has all these features, and so it is noticeable, but it's not at all disturbing or blinding or anything like that. It's a little, I don't know how to say, it's a little twinkle by your car greeting you. Nothing to worry about. One thing I wanted to mention as well, as we're hitting this low traffic here, the air condition. I was wondering how good an air conditioning system works in an EV. Obviously an EV is trimmed to conserve electricity, protect the battery, maximize range, and I'm amazed how strong this air conditioning system is. I feel that this car cools down faster than my 330i did, and it does that in a very elegant way. So there's air vents all across the front of the car here, underneath the windshield, and around you somehow, that the air is turned over very quickly, and it's not blowing hot or anything like that. So it's done very well. And with the app that you can install on your phone, it is actually sometimes a luxury that I spoil myself with in the summer in Texas, before you leave wherever you come from. Really just a few minutes before, you can remote activate the air conditioner on your car, and it does a wonderful job cooling off the car before you enter. The car has also, when it's cool in the morning, you can obviously control that, but at a certain temperature it welcomes you once you start driving with seat heating that kicks on. And you can always, preset how soon you want this to be happening, temperature-wise. But it also does something nice as well. It's also warming the armrests. And so the warm seats is one thing, but then also the armrests get warm, and it kind of gives you this feeling that the car hugs you, and that's a very nice feature to have. We don't have many cool days in Houston, but I imagine it's nice to have when you have a lot of cool days. So you can choose your mode that you want to operate this car from. Almost not braking for you automatically, or you do B mode, which is basically whenever you don't hit the gas pedal, the car brakes and comes to a full stop. I like the adaptive mode, and it's set in a way that if, let's say, I come to a point where I need to turn right at the next crossing, at the next intersection, and I set the indicator, the car understands what I want to do, and as I approach the turn, it'll slow down for you early enough to use the capacity of the car to regenerate the battery by basically reversing the electric motors, make the car spin the motors to recover electricity to recharge the battery. But it's done very well, very smooth, and I think it takes a little bit to get used to. If you're not used to it, it's kind of, what is the car doing? But if you're used to it and if you're open to this, it makes the driving experience very nice, because the car it's almost like the car is always thinking for you. It takes its clues from the navigation system, because then it basically knows where you want to go, or it takes the clues from you use the indicator to show you want to turn right, and it knows there's an intersection coming. So I like it a lot. It's extending the range of your car, and it's also a good safety feature. All right, I will demonstrate this feature now, the adaptive braking, but first, to prove my point, typical commute back, a lot of heavy traffic, so some normal highway speeds, but also some slower highway speeds. Not like an entire traffic jam where nothing is moving, but slow moving. And that's what I meant, right? If you look at the efficiency of my EV here, 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour, really good. And I'm doing this for 24.4 miles, so it's real. Okay, if you pay attention to the adaptive braking screen here, right now I'm just cruising. But the car knows per navigation that I want to turn right. So I'm using the indicator, go on the right lane, and you can see the car is slowing down. It knows I want to turn back, turn right, and it's slowing down for me. In this case, it was a bit aggressive because there was a car in front of me, but it does it. So now I'm taking the foot off the gas pedal entirely. You see the car slows down. I can make the turn. Here we go. It does it for you, and it's once you get used to it, it's totally fine and nice, and minimizes your brake action that you need. Okay, one of the features I would like to quickly demonstrate is the backup assistance. So I just dropped my kids at soccer, where it's a bit tight to get to, next to the building between parked cars. So the moment I kick the car in reverse and say start up, backup assistant, the magic basically happens. So I just give it a little bit tip on the gas, and I now basically just control the speed by really hitting the brake pedal a little bit, because he would go out faster than I would be comfortable. Between the cars here, you can see exactly the way I came in. It's still measuring all the distances to the cars. So if there's, let's say, a new car that came, it would detect it and not run into it. You see all the green squares still detecting the difference, the distance to the parked cars. And really, if I would take my foot all the way off the brake, it would be really fast getting out of here. So like this fast. Now I just did it. Almost uncomfortable fast. And you can see I'm getting all the way out of here where I came from. And this is really a cool feature. Do you need it all the time? No. But a situation like this, obviously I'm going much more than I needed to, just to demonstrate this. But just to demonstrate this, it's pretty awesome. Works really, really well, the backup assistant. Another cool feature that this car has is the parking assistant. So obviously a lot of parking here, but just to show what you would do, you would activate parking by pressing the parking button. So the car knows that you're looking for a parking spot. And as you drive, it's gonna detect here on your display basically open parking spots. So now it found one. It says, hey, there's a parking. This one is right next to a car, so maybe we pick this. So if you see here, if I put it in start reverse parking, so all I do is basically put it in, or basically accept here, start reverse parking, and let the magic happen. So the car is in reverse. It starts to spin. It's going around the parked car. As we can see here, it's going right into this parking spot and nails it, I would say, pretty perfect. It does a little correction even here, just to be really perfect. I probably would have been satisfied with the initial approach. Very cool. Kind of magical, to be honest. The same goes for forward parking. If I prefer forward parking, I can basically choose, right? I can choose what I want to do. So let's see, this parking lot here, it's identified. If I say start forward parking, it does forward parking for me. So really just lifting the foot off the brake, the car goes in reverse automatically. It's, here's the situation. It's just steering magically into the parking spot. And really does that very, very accurately. You can see it backs off again. There was a car crossing, so I did hit the brakes for a second here just to be sure. There was a car crossing behind me. Maybe the car would have done it too, I think so. But yeah, here we go. Parked in front perfectly. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end. I know this is a long video, but I hope for somebody who is seriously exploring to buy this car, it has a lot of relevant, real good, real life experience that is useful for you to make a good decision. I'm leaving you with some clips from some fun acceleration runs. Remember, if you need this car to be fast, it can be very, very fast, and it's insanely fun. Okay, bye-bye. Please like and subscribe.
Oh my god.
The happy days are gone. You've been quiet for a long time, silent for a while. Why does it feel all wrong? You are no longer mine. Where is your beautiful myself now. Did I fail so bad? Or were you and I just